Alright, and now we're ready to come in the back here and remove the banjo bolt from the brake caliper. And I may have done this a little out of sequence, so if you want, you can start first with removing that banjo bolt. Because what I did is I just loosely bolted the caliper back to the spindle just so this caliper's not flopping around as I'm trying to unbolt the banjo bolt. So, and be sure to have a catch can down below because you are going to lose some brake fluid out of there. Right here is the banjo bolt. This little block right here comes off of your brake line. So this little bolt right here is what we need to remove. So you come in here with a 1/2 inch wrench or socket, whatever you choose, and you just want to break it loose. And this was being a little tricky, so I'm going to have to put some force behind it. Alright, now I've got that banjo bolt loose now. As you can see, there's some brake fluid leaking out of there. So that's why you need to have the, I'll pan down here and you can see it dripping out of there. So that's why you need to have the catch can down there to catch any brake fluid. And just a word of caution, if you get this stuff on your hands, don't go touching any painted materials because brake fluid will eat through paint. And I'm sorry this is not focused, I'm not sure what the deal is, but if you get this on your hands, don't touch any paint on your car because it will eat through the paint. And there you have it. We have the caliper removed, and I just want to make sure you know these are side specific, in which case you see that little R, that stands for right. That's the right side of the vehicle or the passenger side of the vehicle. So these are side specific. So when you go to the parts store, you got to tell them that you need a passenger side caliper, or you need a driver side caliper. The next thing we need to do is remove this little retaining clip that holds up the brake line. And to do that, you take a 1/2 inch wrench and you stick it in from the back side because there's a bolt there. And then you just come in from the outside here. Just use a 1/2 inch ratchet or another 1/2 inch wrench, whatever you choose, and you just take that out. No big deal. I just wanted to come in here and give you a little close-up shot of that little bracket that holds the brake line to the upper control arm. And you see it's got that little tang on it. And I'll come over here and hopefully not block the light. There's the hole. This tang, you start up, stick it in, and then you push down. And that's how it's held into the upper control arm. Of course with that bolt as well. But to remove it, of course, you take the bolt out, you slide the little bracket up, and then you just kind of walk it out of there. It can be a little tricky, but there it is. So you can see how that fits into that hole. So I'm actually going to let this finish draining. You can see the brake fluid leaking out there. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this brake line attached. Leave it attached up here at the frame, just so it all leaks out, because otherwise it's going to leak out on the other side of the frame and it's going to run down the frame and dump out somewhere back there, and I'm not real sure to where to put my catch can. I don't want to make a big mess. So I'm just going to let this bleed out, and we'll work on getting this rotor off. Alright, here's a little dust cap on the end of the rotor, and we need to get this off. But I just wanted to show you, someone didn't do a very good job of putting this dust cap on when they installed it the last time. So this isn't factory. Factory would have pushed it in all the way. So someone's been in here before, which leads me back to my belief that this is a replacement rotor. So it's certainly thick enough to get turned down, but this cap is not fully seated all the way into the rotor housing. So anyway, now we got to get this off of there. So let's work on getting this dust cap off of there. A lot of times you can have good success with just putting a screwdriver in there and twisting just like that. And that's all it took to get the dust cap off. Like I said, this one was only on really about halfway. So Anyway, I may hold on to this one. It's not too bad. Someone put some goo on there. This isn't factory. I think someone stuck some like a silicone sealant on there just because they knew they didn't get this thing on there all the way, and so they put some RTV or RVT or whatever it's called, silicone gasket maker around the edges just to keep dust from getting into the spindle, that's what this is supposed to do. This is called a dust cap. So anyway, we got this off. Now we got to come in here and get the cotter pin out and get the nut off, and then we'll be able to pull the rotor. Now we're going to come in here and we're going to get the cotter pin off. You can see the head of the cotter pin. It's right here at the end of the screwdriver, and then the little bottom part is down here. I'm touching it with the screwdriver. So what we'll do, I'm going to try and do this without blocking the camera too much. I apologize for my dog barking. Come in here and you just kind of pry it open a little bit, and when the screwdriver doesn't work, you come in here with some needle nose pliers. Don't get the super skinny needle nose pliers. Get the ones that kind of have some meat on the end of them. You just come in here, kind of straighten that out a little bit. I'm going to come under here and get the other half. I never do my cotter pins this way. I always bend this end up and over. So get that straight. We'll get this kind of straight, pinch them together, and it kind of pops up like that, and you just pull it out. Simple as that. Alright, so now we just got to come here. We got the cotter pin out. We need to remove this nut here, this castle nut. It's called a castle nut because of the little marks in there, like this one right here. That's where your cotter pin goes in. So these are called castle nuts for that reason. And anyway, you come in here. I'm just going to use monkey wrench, and these are not supposed to be super tight. In fact, I think the recommended torque is 15 inch-pounds, not foot-pounds. So just give that one a little twist. And see, mine's not very tight. If you come in here on your truck and you're doing this, and this nut has been cinched down real tight, then the person who did this last did it wrong. There's not supposed to be a whole lot of torque on these nuts. That causes premature bearing failure, and it causes this rotor to be tight, so lose performance, lose gas mileage, lose all that. These are only supposed to be just slightly snug, not tight. And there you have it. We got the rotor off. Just kind of sitting right down here on the driveway. No big deal. Personally, when I took this off, I really don't think there's enough bearing grease in there from when the person who did this last put new wheel bearings in this thing. I always just coat the hell out of it. You know, you almost kind of can't have too much grease. As long as it's not going to sling out and get onto the braking surface, then you're okay. So anyway, so we got this out, and now I'll show you how to do pull the seal and pop the races out of this hub.